Dallas has just been on a tear. I believe we can attribute that to Jason Robertson. Also, Jake Ottinger, who's really stepped in.
Yeah, so we can compare a rookie QB to a toddler. Hayward's absence for this game will be significant, and I wouldn't be surprised if this game turns into a blowout as of late.
The Golden Knights just can't pull it. I really think the Avalanche are determined this year.
They made so many moves and grabbed so many guys that they have to win a championship or at least make the finals. They were on our championship and bust.
The same self, the only year he won an MVP was the year he cheated, which really should put something against that MVP, but...
Yeah, and as a Cowboys fan, I have learned how dangerously good Aaron Rodgers has been with he can just thread a pass.
Hello, I am Ruby Ackerman, and you are listening to Outsider's Opinion with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week. And we are reviewing the All-Star starters, Austin. And I just want to say, it seems like this West group has been a constant for these starters the past few years.
Yeah, they've been very similar year in and year out. I guess the only kind of new addition is Wemby. There is no LeBron, which is where Wemby comes in. And a lot of people are complaining about Curry over Anthony Edwards. I get that. I get it. If the Timberwolves were a top 5 seed, I think I would be a little bit more mad about Curry getting it over the Anthony Edwards. But I just don't think the difference is crazy different. And deciding to put in a All-Star game MVP over him, yeah, there is some bias there, and it's not necessarily the most perfect selection, but I think that it's close enough that I'm not mad. I don't think that points per game is the most all-determining stat of all time, even though Ant is a little bit more efficient and averages 2.5 more points per game. He still averages less assists, and they average about the same amount of rebounds. I don't think the difference is crazy for like a big discussion about it. I think that they're very similar. They're 7 and 8, I believe, in the West right now. Let me check that to make sure, but I'm pretty sure they're 7 and 8 in the West.
Warriors are 8, and then the Timberwolves are 6, but they're separated by 2 games.
That means that somebody must have lost to change that, because they were 7 and 8 when I was watching the game the other day.
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see. The Timberwolves are half a game above the Suns now, but very similar record-wise, both in the play-in area, even though technically the Timberwolves would miss the play-in or be in the normal playoffs and not the play-in if they stayed in this position. But I do think that there is not enough difference. And I think that too many people are staring at points per game to kind of determine it, because Curry's been dealing with a lot this season with injuries and everything else with the rest of his team to keep them competitive. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, if you look at it, LeBron is surprising, kind of remembering that he's always been a starter in recent years. But I do think kind of with Luka on the Lakers, he's kind of the main Laker now, and then LeBron is still being LeBron, but it is kind of that battle of stardom between the two. And when you talk about Curry, I do think there is bias with kind of just how great he's been. It's kind of when if LeBron was against, I think if it wasn't Wemby, LeBron probably would have gotten the nod, but Wemby is a guy that is just so good defensively, offensively, and that next up-and-coming star that it's not as much with LeBron, but you kind of have that with Curry and Anthony Edwards because they're close. They're similar in where they are at the standings. And even though I'm trying to find the Spurs, and the Spurs are 2. So of course they're going to have Wemby given just how well they're doing. So I am curious. I know Jokic is dealing with an injury. So is there going to be a replacement? Maybe that's where LeBron comes in.
Well, yeah, because Jokic isn't going to play. So someone's going to have to replace Jokic. And I mean, there's probably a better option than LeBron, but because of it being the All-Star game, it probably will be LeBron.
Yeah, I think is there new, or is it they still do positions for the All-Star starters?
I think it's just 2 guards and 3 front courts.
Okay. Because that's to where I was thinking you could go, like have Wemby as
Or maybe
the
there
center.
isn't. No, there isn't. There isn't any.
Okay.
Yeah, because the East has 4 guards and 1 front court, according to NBA.com. Even though I would say that Brown is front court, but
Yeah.
I do think that the it's not based on that.
Yeah, and that kind of leads us into the East. If you do look at it, you have Cade Cunningham, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey is a starter. But then you have Giannis and Jalen Brown. But if you do look at it, Giannis is kind of that really only big man that could be the center, or his main position is power forward. But then you have Jalen Brown. But yeah, that's 3 guards. I am surprised seeing Maxey on there.
Yeah, but if you're averaging almost 30 on a playoff team, you're gonna be there though, probably.
Yeah, no, I was about to pull up his stats. Yep. Yeah. And that is really impressive to see kind of him rise to stardom with that. And kind of I think we talked about the beginning of the year, kind of, or maybe it was last season, kind of who is the main guy for the Sixers as Embiid constantly deals with injuries.
Yeah, I was wondering if maybe Donovan Mitchell got it over Jalen Brown, one of these guys, because Donovan Mitchell's also averaging 29.5. So it's really close. And there's probably a couple other people that could have made it in both conferences. Because in the going back to the West really quickly, I mean, Kawhi's averaging 28, and even Harden's averaging 26, 5, and 8. So it's pretty competitive. I do think that there's no like egregious picks though, and all the guys that we mentioned that didn't get a starting job or a starting spot are still going to make the All-Star game, which I think is all the league really cares about.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't have a main problem with it as well. And I think it's something that's kind of changed over the years. Because I remember the Andrew Wiggins starter year when he was with the Warriors. And I think that was the biggest one. But it seems like they've really kind of gotten better at the voting and having top tier players to where you can have fun debates with Anthony Edwards and Steph Curry or Tyrese Maxey and Donovan Mitchell. But it's not really an egregious mistake, as you have said.
Yeah, it's not one that you're like, wow, that kind of ruins it for me or something like that. No, it doesn't. And I do think that I have my reservations about the All-Star game, but All-Star starters isn't really one of them.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say. Kind of the game stinks, but I think there's still prestige with being named an All-Star player for the
100%,
NBA.
because there's only 12 for each conference, and that's a very small amount. So if you make the All-Star team, you usually, like I would say 98% of the time, you deserve it. And the way they've kind of done the voting now to where it's not just purely fan vote, usually, in my opinion, makes it better because the league knows a little bit more about who deserves it over the casual fan who's just voting because the team tells them to vote. But yeah, I think that of all-star games, the NBA is probably the best at displaying the best players in the league, even though it's the worst competition or one. I don't think it's worse than the Pro Bowl, but it's not fun to watch the game, in my opinion, because guys don't really try. But when it comes to the roster, the 24 guys that make it, all those guys are legit, and all those guys deserve to be there almost every single season. While with the Pro Bowl, which we'll do a video about, is usually guys ask out and then no one wants to go to it because they already have planned vacations, and then we get a rookie who played 4 games as a Pro Bowler, and it's like, okay, it actually doesn't matter being a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say too. Kind of that same situation of even if like Jokic is out, I want to say there's another player dealing with an injury, Giannis dealing with an injury. Even those replacements, whoever come into sub, they're still going to be a top tier player in the NBA. So it's
There's
not.
gonna be there's not gonna be more than 6 people miss, and so if you're a top 30 player, right, you deserve to be there. So even if a couple guys miss, sure, yes, but yeah, we'll do a video about the Pro Bowl and that whole situation around it. But of selecting All Stars, no league is perfect, but I think the NBA does it the best because the MLB has a thing where they have to choose one from every team. The NHL has a thing where they have to choose one from every team, and while the NFL does not have a thing where they choose one from every team, they almost make it worse because guys opt out and they're like, no one wants to go, so we're just going to have this rookie who's never played in a game be an All-Star or a Pro Bowler. So the NBA, as much problems I have with All-Star Weekend, if you're an NBA All-Star, that is the most significant accolade of being an All-Star in any of the leagues. Like towards your end of career, like did they make the All-Star game? That matters in the NBA. While it matters a little bit less in those other leagues, especially the NFL, if you were an injury replacement. But yeah, so I'm excited to see who the rest of the All-Star game participants are going to be, and then I'm excited to watch just the 3-point competition like I've done the past 8 years of my life, and that'll be the extent of what I do with the NBA All-Star game.
Yeah, I think you put it very well said, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'll keep you updated on the 3-point competition for all that stuff. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.